let's talk about the one thing I regret the most by working in corporate America. For context, I worked in corporate America for 15 years. I started out my career in a mid-tier consulting firm, then went and worked for industry, then did a startup, then did a big four for about a decade, and now I'm back in industry. So I have lots of experience, 15 years in corporate America, and here's what I regret the most. So when I was working at a big four, I had just met my husband. He was not my husband at the time. Obviously, we were just dating for like 5 to 6 months. And at that time, there was the World Cup in Russia going on, and he had invited me to go with him to the World Cup. Because I'm Russian, and he literally said, come with me to Russia. You don't have to pay for anything. I'll get you a ticket. We already have a place to stay because he was going with his friends and family. He already had everything planned out, locked out. So he said, just come with me to the World Cup. All I had to do was say yes, and I would have been able to go with him. And when he asked me this trip obviously wasn't planned because he had done all the planning way ahead of time. Because for these World Cups, you have to plan them all out way in advance. So obviously when he planned it originally, we didn't know each other. So it was more like an out of the blue trip that he asked me to go to. And all I had to do was just say yes. And to this day, I cannot believe that my reaction was absolutely not. We're in busy season. This whole project is on me. I'm in charge to making sure we hit all our deadlines. I'm so critical to this team. Without me, nothing will get done. I cannot manage to leave for 1 week to do this because this whole project is on my shoulders. And so instead of even asking my managers or my partners if I could go, I just said no. I told my now husband at that time, I cannot go. I can't make it work. I have to hit my deadlines. No way. Because I also thought to myself, how responsible would I sound to my manager if I go up to him and ask for that time off? That's unheard of. I never take time off in busy season. I'm the one that gets things done. So I didn't even ask. I just told my now husband, I'm not going to go, not going to happen, won't work. So he ended up going without me. He had a great time. And fast forward to a few years later, war starts in Russia. And of course, I haven't been in Russia since then. And ever since that happened to this day, I completely regret my decision. And not so much the part where I said, no, I'm not going to go, but more so that I didn't even try to ask and make it happen. Because even if I asked, the worst they could have said to me is, no, you can't go. But then at least I would have felt like, okay, I tried, I asked, it didn't happen, but at least I tried. But no, I didn't even ask. I was so insecure in myself and what they would think that I didn't even try to make it happen. It also shows how little I valued myself and my own self-worth, because if all of this is true, if I was so critical to this engagement where I couldn't even take 1 week off because everything would fall apart without me being there for 1 week, that means actually I'm extremely valuable and they should be a lot more lenient with the things I want to do. But again, I just didn't have that feeling of self-worth to even go and ask that question to try to make it happen because I was so focused on being that responsible person that gets things done. And now if you ask me what I did that week, I can't even tell you. That week is just one of the many weeks that turned into years that I worked there. And I'm sure I worked a lot. I'm sure we hit the deadline, but I have no memory of that week. Whereas if I would have gone to the World Cup, I'm sure if you ask me now, I would have had very special memories from that time because that's such a unique thing to go to. So my advice and my biggest lesson from that is if there's ever something coming up in your life, don't just say no to it, because you will never remember that week that you gave to corporate America. And chances are you will switch your jobs anyway, and that week won't matter. But that memory that you may have missed out on would live with you forever, no matter what jobs you go to. Certain memories can happen again, right? I will never get that World Cup trip back. You can never get that wedding back. You can never get those events because they're gone from your life. So if you ever have to make a decision and you're at that stopping point, my advice is be more brave than I was and be more comfortable and confident in yourself than I was to actually at least try to make it work versus completely writing it off from the start.